back again. This is the Rewind Podcast. Shouts out to everybody who jumped on last week. Shouts out to everybody that showed a lot of love on the last episode. Me and my homie Mike Wilson broke down Jay-Z's first album, Reasonable Doubt. Appreciate all the love. Appreciate all the reviews. Appreciate all the shares, all the thumbs up and everything like that. But we back at it again. Got my big dog. Sean Hunt is back again for a second appearance on the Rewind Podcast. And I got my brother, my right state brother, Brian Lowery, a.k.a. Killa B. So it's only right that we break down the Wu-Tang Clan's first album, 36 Chambers, man. Y'all boys ready for this or what?
Yeah, but I'm interested why Brian's nickname is Killer B. That's interesting.
It's been Killer B for 93. Since
You always playing. You was always playing them Killer Bees. That's what it was.
Pretty much. I mean, this point, this might be terrible.
Well, what does that tattoo say? What does it say?
Beeswax. I've been Killer B as long as Kev know me.
Okay.
I'm a big Wu fan, and I can speak about them unbiased also.
Okay. It's good to recognize that, though. Yeah.
So as normal, man, we're gonna break everything down, man. Hunt, did you do your little bit of homework that I stole from you about the albums that came out in 93? Go ahead, break it down. What albums came out in 93?
You got Tupacalypse Now. Okay, you got Tupacalypse Now. Now, the Questlove says in 93, the day the Wu-Tang dropped, he said after these two dropped, these great CDs dropped, and like hip hop was down from there. He said the Wu-Tang entered 36 and Midnight Marauders dropped on the same day. He said after that, he said not because of them. He said those are great. Those are the greatest CDs ever. He said after that it went down, man. But you got Midnight Marauders, which I actually slept on. I'll say. You got Scarface, The World Is Yours.
Yeah.
Alcoholics. You got the Alcoholics. Snoop Dogg, first CD Doggy Style. 8-Ball MJG first.
Coming out hard.
Yeah, you got Spice One, man. You had a lot of stuff in 90. You had Ghetto Boys Till Death Do Us Part, man.
A lot of classic
stuff. Yeah, a lot. Then you had a lot of stuff like Souls of Mischiefs, Dale the Funky Homo Sapien,
Black Moon.
You had De La Souls. I think they was it second or third.
Hey,
but go ahead, bro.
That Black Moon album is one of the. I think that I had probably bumped that tape and ran into the CD for probably good 10 years. Like when I say it like that, I know every word to every song on that album.
Okay. Let me ask you guys this question. But I specifically named a lot of people outside of East Coast. What was East Coast doing at this time? Because Dre and them was kind of running it.
Right.
Chronic the year before, Snoop Dogg 93, Ghetto Boys has made a good push. Gangster rap is kind of taking off. So what is New York doing 92-ish, 93-ish? What are they doing?
In my opinion, I think the East Coast is trying to regain some footing somewhere. Because the problem is that, there was West Coast rap, but let us be honest. The mainstream world and casual listeners didn't care until the Chronic, period. I mean, you a hip hop head, you know. I mean, you knew who MC8 was, and you knew who Spice was, all them cats. But till Dre and Snoop caught something and snatched it a little bit. You know, these cats was in their feelings. I mean, but that's the funny thing about Enter the 36 Chambers, though, was I don't think that there has ever been anything created like Enter the 36 Chambers before that and since. And the closest group to ever be as innovative as Enter the 36 Chambers is Outkast. I mean, so the truth,
Okay. Yeah.
and what it is, man, Enter the 36 Chambers was able to actually, let me say this, Enter the 36 Chambers was able to create something that the East lost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, for a long time, man, the East Coast was regular raw hip hop, breakdance, and graffiti, whatever. West Coast came, took it, created their own, you know, funk, all of that stuff. And I mean, there's a lot of cats where the whole style and creativity of the East Coast was sounding all the same. And then there was Wu. I mean, and it was a whole different creation of something that, let us be honest, even the Wu after Meth, Ghost, RZA, no, not even RZA, after Meth, Ghost, Raekwon, the Jizza, and Oh Dirty Bastard, they were not able to effectively create afterward. No one could actually copy that style. It has not been copied effectively since, unlike other people's style. So
for me, with the East Coast at the time, I think before Wu, they were in a transition of finding themselves again, because West Coast with Dre and Snoop and Death Row, they came out hard. Gangster rap is hard. But on the East Coast, it wasn't until Wu, if I'm not mistaken, that East Coast seemed like, okay, it's okay to be rugged. It's okay to be raw. It's okay to talk grimy shit like them. And then you had Mobb Deep coming up after them. So it wasn't, it was like more commercial music at the time. And then with these dudes came in with that raw style, like that people from that coast was wanting, basically fed everybody what they wanted.
Yeah.
And really, if you think about it, man, like you said, Doggy Style came out that year. The three best albums that come out that year was Enter the 36 Chambers, Midnight Marauders, and Doggy Style. And that's 3 albums for 3 completely different types of people.
Think about it. Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, if somebody could really spit and say, man, what's the best album in 93? Man, you can catch 3 different people who will tell you 3 different albums. But I was almost all 3 of those people would name them 3 albums in their top 3. It's just a matter of the order because of the style of music that they liked at the time.
If I can combine the years of 91 through 93, I would say for New York, the Native Tongues, the Click, you know, Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, I guess I'd say the Jungle Brothers, okay? You know, but they were gaining ground. You know, they were gaining ground, and like you guys said, I think New York was looking for that. Like, who's up next? Like, a lot of people, they love De La Soul, but they weren't that staple, because some people didn't mess with them all like that. They were the Tribe. Tribe was great, but I think their signature album, Midnight Marauders, it hadn't come out yet. But go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was going to say, but you realize that those years you named are also the transition years we talked about. Because in truth, when you think about 91 to 93, before Wu-Tang, the reason why those are transition years is because you have to think about the culture of hip hop in the world at that moment. And,
man.
And if you really put that in perspective, I like to think of it like this. That transition period was between Public Enemy and Wu-Tang. And I say that between Public Enemy and Wu-Tang, you know, young Black kids needed a voice. So we went from fighting the power to, bitch better have my money. And when you put it in perspective, man, you know, it seems like a totally different generation of Public Enemy kids, the NWA kids, right? And when you think Ice Cube left NWA, the Public Enemy kids kind of fell through the middle of there and became Ice Cube fans because Ice Cube,
exactly,
West Coast sound to Bomb Squad, Public Enemy, right?
Yeah.
That's who produced his first couple albums, the Bomb Squad. And he was a West Coast dude with an East Coast sound. And then you had Dre creating a whole new West Coast sound because, the truth is NWA wasn't necessarily a West Coast sound as much as what Dre created at Death Row. And those people who wasn't on that had to have something similar, which is where Wu-Tang came from. And those people who strayed away from the Public Enemy sound and couldn't feel the West Coast and was no longer on that went right to Tribe. And the truth is I was always somewhere in between. So, I mean, that to me, the years at 89, I tell people the best 6 years in hip hop history is 1989 and 1995. For that reason, we got so many classic albums in that time, and because of the world and hip hop gave us so much creative energy from the artists, what was going on, how they thought about each other, the collaborations. And when you think about the collaborations of what had happened at that time, and then it birthed where we at with Enter the 36 Chambers, because nothing was that. I mean, Enter the 36 Chambers is the equivalent to, the Wu-Tang is the equivalent to James Brown, the equivalent to Marvin Gaye, like Funkadelic, Parliament Funkadelic, just something that was just so totally different at the time. It has created a culture of people that still exist right now.
Yeah.
I know a lot of young people that really mess with the Wu to this day. So Hunt, where was you at in 93? Hunt, where was you at in 93?
In 93. It came out November 93. I was a senior in high school. I was a senior. I was a senior in high school. Kev is 3 years younger than me. Me and Kev are from the same hood. So I was a senior in high school. Now, if I can jump a little also to tell you guys who hit me on, right? At this time, in our neighborhood, Brian, it was all, man, we came up in the greatest neighborhood of all. It was about a total of maybe 18 of us total, if you count everybody, like 18. So we had this mentality, hey, I brought this group to the table. This is my group. For me, it was Ghetto Boys, Scarface, MC8. Hey, I brought them up on the hill. These are mine, right? So we would get our tapes from this place called Looks Discount. I would find anything Rap a Lot, and I would buy it. Right? Anything Rap a Lot. Now, Brian and Kevin, I'm not saying that these CDs were always good, okay? So, in the midst of this, our mutual friend, Tony Holloway, Antoine Holloway. Tone Bone, a.k.a. Boneyard. So he couldn't stand my taste in music because it was so West Coast, so Southern. And he was this Dale the Funky Homo Sapien. You got to listen to the Hieroglyphics, Souls of Mischiefs, Organized Confusion, which I did like Organized Confusion. So I just bought a car. So I just bought this car, right? This white Escort. So, Tony was like this, man, you got to get hip to the Wu-Tang. Let's go down to Dial's Rapid Creation, see if they got the Wu-Tang. Me and Larry Underwood, Wu-Tang, we walk in, y'all got Wu-Tang, we start laughing. You got Wu-Tang. So they didn't have it at first. We go down to Tower City, walked in. I forget what that place was called, down Tower City, the record store. We go in there. Y'all got the Wu-Tang? No. But Tony told me this. It was 9 guys in this group. So actually, that was enough to build my interest. So I actually wanted to hear, who was this Wu-Tang? You know what I mean? So we actually went back to Dial's Rapid Creations. Weeks later, they had the Method Man single, I think it was Protect Your Neck on the other side. Okay? So we pop it in. He's like this, you ain't gonna like this. You ain't gonna like this Method Man song. You ain't gonna like it. We pop it into my car. And the stuff that Method Man was saying on that song, that it was just like it was so different. But he was saying, "Hey, you get off my cloud." I'm like, man, that sounds familiar. This dude sounds cool. And I was like, hey, man, I actually like this. And then we played Protect Your Neck, and it was just all these dudes coming up next. I was open, like yeah, I was a other coast guy, but man, I was open. So at that time, man, after hearing it was gonna be 9 guys, after hearing this guy Old Dirty Bastard rap on Protect Your Neck and hearing Method Man rap, I wanted to hear more. I was open. I was down. I always used to play that Method Man, so I love that Method Man song. So I got hip to Boneyard, my boy Tony, man, and we thought he was just so hip onto East Coast rap. He was just reading the Source magazine. That's what we found out, right?
Right,
Tony,
right.
Tony, you were just reading them Source magazines. You hit me onto the Source magazines too. So that's how I got hip to it. So and
That's
that's
Killer,
hilarious.
Killer, who hipped you to the woo?
Oh, so I could tell you exactly when and where I was. So at that point, let me see. I remember exactly what I was bumping at that time. Souls and Mischief, Balloon Mind State by De La Soul.
okay.
Of course, like I said, Black Moon Into the Stage. I know Big Daddy Kane Looks Like a Job for came out. So check this out. So you listen to this, because truth is, I love Balloon Mind State. I guess when you think about De La Soul albums, people kind of that's not on the high end of it. But so
Mm-hmm.
Souls was a little different. So 93 to Infinity, Patrick Cochran, Fort Hayes. I'm in the 10th grade. I'm playing football at the time. We standing. Fort Hayes had the business building had this thing called the Pit. Everybody would gather there, right? Pat goes, "Hey man, you gotta listen to this." So keep in mind, man, we all had dudes from New York. Pat had a homie Poncho who used to get us Ron G,
Brian, where are you from? Where are you, Brian? Where are you from, Brian? Where you grew up at in Dayton or
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus? Okay, thank you.
So
C-O.
so so we used to get these mixtapes all the time, and that's how I knew who Darkman X was and Warlocks, things like that. I'm sitting in the pit in the middle of the business building at Fort Hayes, listening to Fat Joe's Represent tape on my Walkman. And Pat comes over, man, you gotta hear this, man. You gotta hear this. Keep in mind, Pat was high all the time. Yo, you gotta hear this, man. Like, man, what is this? He was like, this literally, this that Wu-Tang stuff, man. Because I'm trying not to cuss on here. This that Wu-Tang stuff. And I said, man, what's this? Like, he was like, hey, man, it's a dude on here called Old Dirty Bastard. Like, it ain't no father out. You just gotta listen. I promise you. Promise you. Promise you. I recorded that joint. And the way it was recorded, to this day, I have the tape in the basement in a Foot Locker. It was recorded as such that the tape that I had recording it wouldn't record the whole thing the way it was. So Protect actually split in half on side A and side B.
Okay, okay.
So listen, from that day, and actually the joke was those cats started calling me Killer B. Man, throughout high school, I was either called Red Man and he became Killer B. So I used to have this big crazy afro, wearing the Carhartt jacket and the Timberlands. Cats would call me Reggie Noble, Red Man. Ridiculous. So I mean, it was just that from then on, man. I mean, obviously I listened to a bunch of stuff, man. Like Kevin tell you, I listen to so much different music.
Okay.
I own so much different music, but it's pretty much. I've been Killer B for a long time, man. Love song. Anything with a slow beat, Ghostface rapping on.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
for me in '93, man, I'm a freshman at Cleveland Heights High School, and Rory, Stephen Fort hit me to the woo. So he told me he told me about the woo. He was like the woo this, the woo that. So at the time, I am Hit Squad. Everything Hit Squad. It is
Okay,
that
okay.
effects, Red
Yeah.
Man, EPMD, anything they messing with, I'm on. I'm even messing with Onyx a lot. So like, I'm finding my pocket of like what music I'm gonna be into. So Vori tell me about Protect Your Neck, and this is probably like, this is after the album come out. This is probably like December by the time he's telling me about this. So he's telling me about Wu-Tang. He's telling me about Wu-Tang. Like, yo, I got the tape. You need to come and listen to it. You need to come listen to it. Because, you know, remember, Hunt, at that time, we had moved over around the corner to Green by the time I was
Green, yeah.
So I wasn't on the hill every single day. I would like have to, you know what I'm saying, be like a Tuesday, Thursday, weekend type of visit. So
yeah.
So he would tell me about it, and then like my dude in my math class, Roderick, he was like, "Kev, you hip to the woo? Kev, you hip to the woo?" I was like, "Yeah." My dude told me about it. Like, is it dope? It's like, is it better than Redman? Is it better than this? It's like better. I was like, man, ain't no rapper better than Redman. Ain't no rapper alive better than Redman. The What the album, bonafide classic. I was like, ain't a rapper better than Redman. He's the best. Period. And him and I would go back and forth about it. And I still ain't listened to it. So one day, I'm on the hill and I'm at the Fort crib and I'm finally listening to it. I'm like, it's cool. It's cool. I get a dub of it. So I dubbed it and I eventually started listening to it more and more and more, man. But that, yeah, you know, you really can't give people like Tone, Bone, and Vori that type of credit because they'll hold that shit over your head to the end of time.
Man. Yeah. And it's very possible, Kev, that Tone hit me on in the summer. I might have told Vori, and then he might have went from that. That's how our neighborhood kind of work. I'm not taking credit, but it could have.
That's exactly what it
like
was.
That.
Because the dynamics of the neighborhood was obviously y'all was older than us, so the trickle down theory. Youngest one in the neighborhood, so I was the last to find out about so many things, and Vori hit me to so many different things that I'll probably never tell him to himself.
It goes back to what I said, man. When we hip someone on, hey, crown me, man. Crown, I hit you on.
I want my credit.
Exactly.
Hey, that if you think about it though, man, that whole time changed hip hop. Cause if I don't know if y'all remember, man, in '93, let's see, in '92, EPMD had an album come out. Big Daddy Kane had an album come out in '93. Or when you really put it in perspective, Wu-Tang effectively made Public Enemy, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, all of them. Oh,
yeah, man. Yes. And hip hop is like that, man. We want the newest, the freshest, and the hippest, man. And Wu-Tang was that. Who doesn't want to have a group? Who don't want to be hip to this group that got 9 MCs with these extremely unique names? I remember rolling with Tony, playing Protect Your Neck. He would say, "This is Inspector Deck. This is an Old Dirty Bastard. This is Ghostface Killer." When they rap, and I was just like, wow, listen to these names. And then you hear the karate stuff in the back, man. Like everyone, like at one time, was infatuated with, you know, the kung fu flicks and stuff, and wearing the kung fu shoes.
So we kind of,
so you kind of knew where, they was hip to that stuff. They loved it like us, you know. So.
And and when you think about it, man, the first time you heard that joint, it was like 9 mysterious dudes. Like, man, well, the funny thing is now when you watch the Wu-Tang All-American Saga and Up Mics and Men, man, you start to realize, I guess we wasn't the only one that thought this was 9 mysterious dudes coming out the woods. Some hip-hop, real killers too, man.
Yeah, it was like what you were saying, like with Big Daddy Kane and when the Wu came out, it made all them old like that. The Wu changed how cats dress too, because shoot, like we was shopping at what's the spot we used to go to, Hunt, at Euclid Square
Which
Mall?
one?
Was it
Jeans West and
Jeans West? Jeans West. Absolutely.
With the paisley shirts, man.
Yeah.
Before the Wu, the box
and then after
Timbs
that,
and hoodies, man.
Timbs and hoodies. Changed the whole wardrobe.
Yeah.
Well,
listen,
man.
at that point, everybody was cutting off their boxes and growing their afros into knots. just walking around with crusty beards, looking just remember, you think about it, man. When the cats first came out, they did look dirty as hell. I mean,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
us, you was walking around in your big jeans, Timbs, a hockey jersey in the summer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shoot, man.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the album, man. First track out the
Yeah.
gate, man. First track out the gate.
Phew.
Bring the ruckus. You
Bring
got
the ruckus,
Ghostface
man.
on there. Ghostface, the first verse you hear on the album. What did y'all think about Bring the Ruckus back then, and what did y'all think about it when y'all listen to it now?
If I could, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say,
Okay. Yeah. Go.
it starts it off like exactly how that album ends up. Like it's completely rugged, chopped up, just nasty. And when you know, it's to me when Bring the Ruckus comes on, the first thing I thought when I heard it was, oh shit, what is this? And I mean, it's a lot of cats out there who can probably tell you that song actually sets it off completely. Bring the Ruckus. Like you knew that album would be a big ass fight. Me. Go ahead, Hunt.
Man, so I remember this, popping it in, listening. Ghostface raps, okay? Like I said, his name is very intriguing at this time. Then Raekwon comes in. So when Inspector Deck rhymes, I rip it hardcore like porno flick itches. You ever seen a dog's ears go up when they hear a sound that you whistle or something, their ears turn, their head turn. When that verse came, it was like, whoa, I want to hear this CD now, man. It was like, I'm in. Give me more, man. Then how the Jizza ends it, man. I was like, oh man, like that and the production on Bring the Ruckus. You remember how Marley Marl's production, it didn't really sound clean. It sounded like dirty. Like, I don't know, maybe he needed to blow the needle off of his samples or something. I don't know, but it had like this a kind of dirty, grimy production to it, man. And it was just like, I don't know who these guys are, but these guys are just they hear the rhyme. That's it, man. They hear the rhyme, man. That's it.
Listen, even at the end,
yeah.
Listen, because the whole thing is like, it's so just. I'm telling you, and if somebody nowadays will make that and be like, man, who mastered that? Who made that? That's terrible.
Yeah.
And it's not. But if they heard that, even now, you wouldn't say it's terrible. It was, bring it on. Bring it on.
Yeah.
It's the whole feel of it is, hey man, let's fight, let's scrap, let's do this.
Yeah, exactly, man.
The rest of the album is a fight.
Yeah.
You know, me hearing that the first time coming from listening to songs produced by Eric Sermon, where everything is sampled to perfection. Everything is on point. You're not gonna get nothing that's off key, off beat, not using I don't know what the hell they use for that snare on that Bring the Ruckus, but it's not it don't sound like any drum I've ever heard, but it just sounds different. So whatever distortion RZA put on it, like he made that shit sound good. Made the F ups sound good. So like that was like the first thing I noticed, like listening to it again, because I can honestly say, like, when I used to listen to it, I just listened to the words. It's like, oh man, they spitting. But now listening to it and listening to the production and listening to how it sounds, like it's purposely offbeat at times. And I know me and Maine used to get into this all the time. Maine, he likes the Woo, but he's not a big RZA fan because of the production. Because you know, Maine is a Dr. Dre fanatic. So anything that's not perfectly sampled, perfectly chopped, it shouldn't sound like, it's not supposed to sound like that. Like I used to get into it, like it's supposed to sound like that. You really think he went in there and made the beat off beat? No, it's supposed to sound like that.
That's what makes it so different, because you know, when you think of Dre beats and you think of Let Me Ride, doo 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 doo. And listen, that's
Chris.
all. It's all one fluid one fluid movement.
Yeah.
Nothing about nothing about Bring the Ruckus is the first song on there that's gonna get you to understand that nothing about this is ever gonna be one fluid movement. And the thing is, it's so exemplified what Wu-Tang is as far as movies, karate, kung fu, the RZA, everything. Because you knew starting at the beginning that this wasn't gonna flow like one song. These songs weren't gonna flow one into the other like very smooth. Like it was gonna kick your ass in between.
Yeah, and then you go into Shame on the Nigga, and
oh man,
that it's like it just got that movie vibe to it.
Yep.
It got the movie like I talked about Channel 5. Like I don't remember growing up as a kid, they used to show the karate flicks on Channel 5 at back home in Cleveland, and like that's what it seemed like. Like, you know, they go into break and and then you go to commercial break, you wait 3 minutes and they come right back. Like that's like that's the mood that they put you in.
Yeah, hey, it's something about horns in a hip hop song that just makes a song extravagant, man. Like that like when it came on, man, it was kind of like, you know, it took you on a roller coaster ride with Bring the Ruckus, but then this roller coaster now speeding up even more. Man, when I heard Shame on the Nigga, when I heard Dirty's voice, I was just like, man, I was like, that's that dude again. That's Dirty from Protect Your Neck, and his rhymes on there, man, especially his last verse, man, like. It was just, we keep saying it, but it was so true. It's so different when he said that, ow, be like, wow, with my style. I was just like, man, this dude, man, like this group is off the hook, man. But I used to say this, and I won't say it now, but I used to say like Shame on the Nigga was the best beat I've ever heard. That, that's a great beat, but I still won't say the best. But I used to think at the time that was the best beat I've ever heard, man.
So when you got to think about it, it's like football, right? And you in the pros, and you got a rookie, and it's the very first regular season game. You got that rookie running back, and you get him the ball, right? So Bring the Ruckus comes off. Shame on the Nigga comes on. Time to run, get hut 1, hut 2, hut 3, hut 30,
live and uncut.
It's like as soon as it come on, man, you just feel like somebody kicking through your door, and it really feels like this is what it feel like. It feel like it's Christmas.
True, man.
It feel like it's Christmas. You're drunk. As soon as he show up, you know he walk in the door. He loud, he obnoxious. He giving a hug too long. He smell like he got alcohol on his breath. He got a cigarette out the side of his mouth. He ain't wiped his shoes off at the door. Everybody I got one. His name is Butch. And everybody here come Uncle Butch. That's ODB, and that's exactly how Shame on the Nigga starts out, man. And it just, you know, that's your introduction. And actually, the truth is as great as Bring the Ruckus was, Shame on the Nigga it was the real introduction.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Introduction to the album, to show us what the album was gonna be. Shame on the Nigga was the introduction to the Wu.
Fair.
That's very true, man. Meth was on there, man. He had a perfect, crisp verse. You know, his voice always comes through on the track, man. Meth voice, you know, throughout the CD, man. Of course, we all know he was that dude, man. But Shame on the Nigga, because I remember listening, thinking like, what are they, you know, Shame on the Nigga? What's the theme here? But I'm just like, man, I'm just riding with it, man. It was just so different, man. And Dirty, man. He was just, man, Dirty, man. He could have been. Dirty's the star, man. I'm just saying that before I go further. He's a star.
Okay.
Man.
Okay.
So ODB kicking your ass.
Say what?
You say what?
Shame on the Nigga was ODB kicking your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Then he said he got burnt once, but that was only gonorrhea.
Like,
what?
I'm making funky for you.
Yeah,
right.
Man. I was just like, man.
So then we got Clan in the front. Just a solo track. Now it's only 2 dudes that get a solo track. We get Jizzes in the front. Later on, we get Method Man. For me, I never liked this song. Never
Okay.
liked this song, and the way I listen to it now, I still know all the words because I listen to the CD nonstop. But it's just like you talked about how Method Man, his voice, his presence, the way he approaches a beat. I don't get any of that out the Jizza, man. I get it's like a dude that knows how to rap, but as you would say, Hunt, ain't got no charisma, ain't got no style when he's on the mic. Like he got bars for days, but if somebody else was to say them, they would sound so much better.
Man,
It's a
go ahead,
blast.
Brian. Go ahead,
It's a
Brian.
blast right now. So
I'm just saying, bro.
let me tell you this unbiased. And I'm gonna tell you what I believe the significance of the song is, but let me tell you this unbiased. I love the Jizza. Probably one of my favorite Wu albums ever. One of my favorite albums ever is Liquid Swords. But the Jizza is the driest, he's not the driest member of the Wu-Tang. That is Master Killer. But the Jizza is very dry. The reason why I believe Clan in the Front works, and I might agree with you about it might be my least favorite song on the album, but I love it. Let me tell you why I think it works. When you watch, we know that Wu-Tang All-America saga is very fictionalized in a lot of parts.
Yeah.
But when you watch of Mike's and Men and just of what you know about Wu over the years, the crazy thing about Wu-Tang is their ideology of what they believe Wu-Tang is, what Wu-Tang stands for and everything. And the one who had the rap deal first got it
Right.
two solo songs on there. The one member of Wu who got who was the first one to have an album deal was the Jizza.
Right.
And the one creator of All In Together now, which became Wu-Tang, RZA, ODB, Jizza, it's almost as if the Jizza was, they tell you the RZA's at the head of the table, but we know that the old wise man guiding him was the Jizza. So I don't know if that was a tribute to let him have that, but I do think that through his words in that song, he was giving a good explanation of what they were.
He is spitting. But like you said, he's dry. It's just like, bruh, give me some more energy. Give me some voice inflection. Like, you can't have a guy like an old dirty bastard with so much style and all that stuff, and the way Method Man sounds on a mic, and then you get Raekwon with this slang that I never heard before, and you like ABC sounding rapper like with your voice. Like that's what I was like, man, this just don't hit the same.
Jizza was complex, but it always felt like he was rapping with a chew stick in his mouth, sitting in a chair. And I love him. I love him. I love him. Liquid Swords, Liquid Swords is like top 3, but he always sounded like he was in the studio in a chair with a chew stick in his mouth, looking straight ahead, rapping at
you. What about you,
let me jump in on this. Okay, first of all, you guys say that he's one of the driest. Now, let me tell you, a friend of mine, shout out to my friend Andre Fowler, man. He went to the Wu-Tang concert last year. It was in July at the Agora. He says during the concert, the Jizza stood by the DJ table the whole time. And then when his part came up, he would come to the front, and when his part was over, he would go by and stand by the DJ like this the whole time. It's like, dude, what's up with that? But let's not forget though, when Shame of the Nigga goes off, here comes this up from the 36 chambers, and then he rambles off all these names.
Yeah.
He rambles off all these names, and my favorite name, Mr. Hezekiah, better known as the Yin and the Yang. I would have loved that CD. But man, like RZA's saying this, right? He's rambling off all these names, right? And then you got the bees in the back, the bees sound. So then here comes this song,
Shaheem, aka the Rugged Child.
Man, I respect the Jizza. I'm not a fan of Liquid Swords. He don't put snap on his verses, but he's so thought provoking. But this rhyme clan in the front, I love this song, man. Because as your brother Jermaine, he will not admit. He pointed out to me, man, how Maine set how the Jizza set his rhyme up at especially the second verse, man. Like he's just set it up, man. Like he said, my DJ's the catcher. He's the man, and when he's the one who divides the plan, he throws around and he strikes him out, man. Like, man, that's a very great rhyme, man. I'm not the biggest Jizza guy, but that's a great song, man. Because it calmed down. It calmed down after Shame on the Day. It just calmed down. Listen to these lyrics and explain who we are.
But you can never mistake the Jizza for not being clear and concise. Now, I love this song.
Man, exactly.
I think it's not a bad song on the album, but if I probably had to rank them, Clan in the Front might be the lowest.
Ooh,
you might
for real?
You might be surprised at what's the second lowest, but we'll
Y'all
talk about.
Definitely gonna be surprised with what my most hated song on here is. Yeah, buddy.
Can I throw something in real quick? After this song goes off, I think, if I'm not mistaken, after this song goes off, you're talking about the Killa tape being stole, right?
Hey man, best skit in the history of albums.
Listen, man, the slang that Ghostface came in talking. Hey, yo, God, I'm ready to go get my culture cipher, God. I remember me and your brother, Kev, we thought he was saying guy. Hey, guy, we didn't know he was saying God, man. But, dude, the slang is so unique from these dudes, man. It was just like, man, like, ready to go get my culture cipher, God. What are you talking about back then? I was thinking, dude, what is he talking about? Like, he sound a little, I don't know, man. But don't get on that skit there, man.
Hey, listen.
Yeah,
listen.
it's a good call. Good call.
If you think about it, that skit brought a whole new language to hip hop to cats who wasn't from New York City and really dived into 5%er language or technology. That skit, man. I mean, think about after that skit, we was like, hey yo, God, word is born, man. and cats like every day, all the time. Hey yo, God, hey yo, God, word is born, yo. I'm ready to bust him. Is dead?
What the fuck you mean is he dead?
Oh man, Ghost is a dramatic dude, man. Ghost is a dramatic dude, man. I tell you, man. And yeah, man, the slang on there, man, like it. But I like how yo Meth my killer tape, man. You could tell Meth was hot, nigga. Niggas came over and had blunts and 40s, man. Exactly.
When I let you hold it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Exactly, man. Yeah.
So then we got the Seventh Chamber, another track where they just rhyming and everybody gets to go. Everybody gets to go. Like you just got bars on top of bars on top of bars. I think my guy Inspector Deck has a standout verse on that one as well.
Yeah, I could probably let me think. Go ahead, Brian.
So I love the song. Actually, the Seven Chamber songs are probably the two most forgot about songs on the whole album.
Really?
Yeah, I could probably say that. That's quality, yeah.
But if you think about the Seven Chamber songs, other than Protect Your Neck, the Seven Chamber songs are, to me, probably the truest Wu Cypher song. Period. I mean, the beat and everything. It almost felt like RZA had like two beats and was like, hey, let me give y'all these two, listen, and what y'all want to do. And it just, I'm picturing these cats. I'm picturing a very dank studio, and these cats just like, let me write something, and let me make it better than yours.
Oh yeah.
Which one y'all like better, the first one or the remix at the end of the tape?
I like the remix better.
Me too.
Yeah, I like the remix better. That ooh.
Yep.
Yeah,
it sounds like louder. It sounds more crew involved. I love that one. I like this one, but I love the second one more.
Because the second one is haunting almost. Like best way to end an album that is a haunt anyway. You know what I mean? Ooh.
Yeah.
A hype ass verse till your head bursts. Ooh.
Hey Brian, the piggyback of what you said you could imagine them trying to write the best verse, man. Like I read an interview with Method Man talking about his the what, when he was on the what with Biggie's, and they asked the interviewer asked him, "How'd you feel? You about to rhyme with Biggie?" He said, "Man, that wasn't the challenge. The challenge was writing with the Woo, because you had to have the best verse with all these lyricists, man." He said no disrespect to Biggie, but it was hard coming after Ray and Ghost, man. You that was the challenge, man.
Hey, you had the truth is, and if you think about it, man, you and I know, y'all know that cats will make albums, man, and in all truth, some people don't make the cut.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
I
Nas lost tapes.
I expect the deck at the end of the Tupac joint with
Yeah.
Which is a highway robbery. You can go
Yeah,
listen to
tell
his
me
verse
about
on
it.
YouTube.
How you gonna put Daz on and you don't put Deck
Right.
on, man?
Ridiculous. We all know Dad should not have been, but Dad wasn't gonna get off there because he made the beat.
He made the beat, man. He made the beat.
He on.
Yeah, but when you think of a song like Seventh Chamber, man, it's like if it's 7 verses on that joint, man. If it's gonna be 7 of us, man, I gotta stand out.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's it's songs like and there's probably 3, 4, 5 songs, and you and I know that when groups make albums that consists of a lot of dudes or these made up groups that came after Wu-Tang, they didn't put everybody in the group on one song. Usually it was the last song, right?
Yeah.
If you really put it in perspective, man, this song's on this album with 6, 7 verses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how you gonna roll? I'm not. When me, Kevin, them used to make, we used to write raps and make beats in college. You wasn't gonna be the weak one, man. You never wanted to be. So
Ever.
the competition was fierce.
Hey, don't forget the fact this is the first time we hear the RZA rhyming.
Yeah.
This first time we hear him rhyming, and man, I'm gonna just say this. Hey man, I was not a fan of RZA's, probably none of his raps on this first CD. But we all know he stepped up on the double. We ain't gonna go with the double, but
Hey,
RZA's raps, man, is just
let's put it this way. It's the first time we heard him rhyming with Wu-Tang. Because Lord help us, anything before that we don't even want to remember.
Yeah.
Love you, Rakim.
Exactly. Man.
But you got it. So the thing about though Seventh Chamber is it's actually the first song you heard You Got on, but he wasn't rapping.
Yeah.
Where is he at?
Well, it's the skit. The skit we talked about at the beginning.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Because we'll throw it out there when we get to the song. So when we get to that song,
when we get the mystery, yeah, I know you're talking. Okay, probably know what you're talking about. Okay.
So all right, then we got Can It Be Oh So Simple? Be All So Simple. Great sample. Hunt, not messing with it.
That okay. If I can go first on this.
Yes, go.
Okay, man. This it's a good sample. I think I probably respected it more when Lauryn Hill used it. You know what I mean? I was like, that's the Can It Be All So Simple? But here's the first glimpse you get of the super combination of Ghost and Ray.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. I got these comments to make later on. It's a solid song, but they kind of like yelling through it. You know what I mean? But it's time to sing. You know what I mean? Like how they rap, man. I'm not a big fan of Can It. It's only 2 verses too, man. But it let me know. It let me know what those guys have been. I'm not a big Can It All Be So Simple guy. Go ahead, man. Hey.
Hey, I will
get out the way. I'm getting out the way.
First of all, I can Can It Be All So Simple all day without the words.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Great sample, yeah. I think that's Gladys Knight and the Pips. That's Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Yes.
And
Now, Now let me say that song does tell you the growth between that song and the Purple Tape, because you are absolutely right. It is like yelling, but
I can't stand
Ray got it going on.
You got that's the first Wu song. The rest of them joints, man, you want to tear something up. That's kind of the first Wu song that when you heard it, let's talk about the good old. Let's talk about the
talk
shit.
about you shit.
Yeah.
The man, you could tell when Ghost rhymed. Ghost's a passionate dude. So the thing that makes Ghost and Ray work, the thing that makes Ghost and Ray work is I've always felt Raekwon is an emotionless rapper, like kind of not kind of in the same vein as I say the Jizza is, but Ray is just so, to me. I've always loved Ray. He's always been kind of monotone. He's kind of been emotionless, and I think that's what makes Ray. But I also think that's what makes Ghost work, because that's the real first glimpse we got of Ghost rapping, and you like, damn, was he angry when he made this joint? Like, he feel it, like, you know.
Yeah.
And see, that's kind of why I say it's kind of, I kind of think the opposite way of what you saying in that context. It was yelling a bit.
Okay. Well, it just wasn't me who thought that.
Man, I just love the sample. I love the mini interlude before that. You get RZA talking about, remember back in '79? That was my favorite shit. Like, So then we get to.
Hey, but hold on. Let me throw this in real quick. So about 3 years ago, I seen an interview with Papa Wu saying, cause we all saw the Wu-Tang Saga, right?
Yeah.
I saw an interview with Papa Wu, and he was saying, you know, Power and Raekwon them used to shoot at Ghostface's house.
Yep.
So then we see it on the Saga, and a lot of people like your brother Jermaine thought that was a throw-in. No, man, that was real.
Yeah.
And you see the two dudes, the two dudes got the closest chemistry between the two. The dudes used to be big rivals, man. That's crazy, man. But I just want to throw that in there.
If you think about the name of the song, is Can It Be All So Simple?
Yeah.
So you kind of, you kind of think, when was it simple for y'all cats? Especially when you find out what they used to go through.
Verse each other, no less. Yeah. And in my opinion, one of the most slept on Wu songs of all time, Mystery of Chess Boxing. I fucking love this song. I loved it then. I love it even more now. And the two dudes that don't get no burn they spit hot fire on here, man. Master Killa, his only appearance. Master Killa's only appearance on the album, he kills it. He kills
Who's the other one who don't get no burn? Who's the other one that don't?
You got.
Oh God.
You don't like that verse?
Wait.
Man, I just want to ask you guys this question. I want to get close to this camera. Hey man. You thought niggas was gonna feel that verse?
That's it.
Listen, man, with that raw no cocaine straight from Bolivia, dude.
Hey,
dude, listen. Come on. I love the song. Don't get me wrong.
I knew this was coming from somebody though. I knew it was gonna come.
I love it.
Listen, dude. First of all, it's the only song on the album that has Master Killa on it. So we knew the Wu members.
That's almost career suicide too. But go ahead.
Now let me say, when I was watching the Mics and Men, and as much as I know about the Wu, this one actually blew my mind. If Master Killa didn't show up to the studio, the truth in the matter is Killa Priest would have been the other member of Wu. Because that verse, apparently that spot was intended for Killa Priest. Apparently they said he didn't show up. Master Killa was in the studio while they was all doing it. He wrote his, and they said it was just too good to be left out. I agree.
It's a good verse, though. His verse is a good verse. I agree.
Yeah, I like Master Killer. I just, Master Killer just is. He's he that little nasty part of the chicken wing in the group though. So check this out. This is the best verse You God has ever rapped in his life.
I would disagree, man. I would disagree.
This is the same dude who has said in a rhyme, "Slim Doodle Makers."
Nigga, whack as fuck.
You tell me a
But I
better
love
verse
this verse.
rapped.
You say it again, Brian? You say what?
You tell me a better verse You God has ever rapped.
This is
I
it.
think it's called, I think on the double it's called Deadly Venoms. I think it's called Deadly Venoms. That, don't get me wrong, man. Like, it's hard to search for a You God on Only Built for Cuban Links. I like his verse. I think on the start off song. I think he closes out the first song.
I gotta have to go back and listen to it. He got a good solid verse on the double disc on this yours.
Why are you gonna have that voice? Why are you doing your voice like that, dude? Nah, man, I ain't buying it, man. I ain't buying it, man.
Well, he sound like he eat lit cigarettes.
No, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm like, dude, come
like,
on,
man. From Bolivia. My hip hop will rock and shock the nation like the Emancipation Proclamation.
Hey,
yeah.
He sound like that in real life. But when you look at him, you're like, why that dude sound like that? He sound like he sound like he just lit a cigar, smoked a couple puffs, and then swallowed it.
Now like hold on, yeah. Now I know we're gonna talk. Listen, man, this is probably one of my top 3 verses of the CD. It's Dirty's verse, man. It's one of my top 3 CDs off the CD, man. Like that dude, he rhymed on that rock that tough stuff, puff. I'm gonna catch your bluff, tough rough. I was like, gosh, man. That was almost a hip hop quotable verse, man.
He did, but the problem is when you found out that Old Dirty Bastard never wrote a rhyme in his life.
Okay, now RZA said Dirty will freestyle a whole CD. Now the GZA said this. That's what I heard the GZA say. Remember the song "Damage" after Rawhide?
Yeah,
it's like this impeccable rhyme. I grabbed the mic and now damage your crust. Now the GZA said that he wrote that rhyme. He said, but him and Dirty said it both, and he said he got outshined. He said Dirty will outshine me on my own stuff that I wrote, man. I wonder did he write this one, man?
Yeah, so
this is a good verse. This is a good verse, man.
But this goes back to what I'm saying about the GZA. You got a guy in Old Dirty Bastard who may or may not write rhymes, but he has the mic presence, the charisma, the style, the it factor. Yeah. He has the it factor. So for us, like, all right, we hip hop fans. We want dudes that actually write their own rhymes to perform their own rhymes. But in this case, I don't care because he did it better than you.
Yeah, just entertain me right now. Yeah, man.
Hey, so this verse kind of lets you know, long with shame on the nigga, that ODB in the history of hip hop was Flavor Flav's illegitimate son mad because he never saw his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, so and I say it because Flav was the ultimate hype man, but ain't wasn't nobody listening to Flav rap, and nobody was listening to 911 was a joke. But hey, but you think about it, man. ODB was saying absolutely nothing and something you could feel at the same time. I
won't say he was saying nothing, man. That Jack Cousteau can never get this low. No. Come on.
Yeah. but when I say saying absolutely nothing, y'all, I'm saying in the sense of his rhyme so ADD. It was like, hey man, here, let's put some stuff together. But when he say it, you go, oh, I feel that.
Yeah, man, I agree.
Just feel, man. What the hell?
Yeah, I agree.
Then we got Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to F with. Deck and Method Man.
Fight song.
Fight song. Bars. Just, man, come on, man. I mean, I don't even know what else to say about that song, man. Like, that's my shit right there. Then we got, I know it's a controversial song to some,
Hold on, hold on, hold on. I want to
Go.
speak on Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, go ahead,
I
go
wanna
ahead.
Look, man, this is I know you're gonna probably ask at the end. I'm just talking about Meth verse on here, man. Dude, man, like, man, I hear that verse and I think to myself, dang, man, what kind of happened to Meth, man? Like,
Yeah.
man, his verse, man, I love the beat. That's a Nobody Beats the Biz sample. I found that's a Nobody Beats the Biz sample.
Is it?
Deck come, yeah, Deck's verse is great, man. He comes after the RZA, but what is RZA doing that Beavis and Butthead stuff at the beginning? I was like, dude, man, but
Tigers.
I love,
Tiger.
yeah, I love that song, man. That is a great. That's like an anthem song, man. That's like an anthem song for the Wu-Tang, man.
Hey, that's that Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Is like the true style, the true kung fu style that the
Yeah.
RZA was looking for and the whole thing. And like you said, the thing about Meth is, ain't nothing better than a hungry rapper.
Yeah, man.
So man, when you, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Cause like, you know, when these cats was hungry, they gave you everything.
Man,
When it
yeah.
became when it became marketing for them, and you know, it just it changed it. And I love the song. I
Yeah.
love Meth. You know, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you on that.
When he said that styles get busy, bizarro, I was
Zorro.
just like,
Ah,
oh
with
my
more afros
gosh,
than
man.
Rollo.
Going through
I
with
go
four
for
presentations,
Dolo, Bogart and coming on through.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I was just like,
Yes, I.
man, his rhymes back then, it was so it wasn't just bars, man. It was just like he would say some stuff that I'm rubber, niggas is like glue. Whatever you say rubs off me, sticks to you. It's like, man, we used to say that when we was little, man. Like, man, that's Meth, man. That's the cow for you.
Meth and Inspector Deck, and especially Meth, and this verse right here is one that, you know, when you listen to Wu, a lot of times you could really feel like you're doing kung fu when you're listening to it.
Yeah.
But you ever notice when Meth rhyme, you like it's
Yeah.
the flow.
Yeah,
Meth is the flow in the group. He is the
man.
that when he flow, that beat, him and Inspector Deck, that beat, it's just like, man, they almost singing on that joint.
Yeah, man.
Man,
Yeah.
that song could have been as great as that song is. It could have been better if the RZA didn't show up. If
So
it
now
just would have made if he would just would have made the beat and just let him go, or that I'm just saying it would have been better. Like that get a verse, Meth get a verse, and then each of them get a 8 at the end. It'd have been a better song.
Meth was the king of cool, man. He was the king of cool on this CD, man. He was just that dude, man.
So we got Cream, the acronym that reigns supreme to this day. In my opinion, a top 5 beat of all time. I love this song, the story in the song. I love Inspector Deck verse. What I love even more, I love the video version of this because you get more old boy, whoever is doing the singing part, you get more of that. You got the boys jumping out the MPVs, like you get everything visualized.
Yeah.
You get Meth with the fucking toothbrush. You get everything brought to life. And
Griminess, man.
at its finest, man. I know B, you are not a fan of this song.
Wait. I didn't say I wasn't a fan of the song.
Nigga, you don't like this song, nigga.
I think that this is the worst song on the album.
Okay.
And I know that, listen, Cream, people love Cream. And I think that Cream was the most pop song off the album.
Yeah.
Do I think it was intended to be that way? No. It is true Wu-Tang gutter grimy. I love the song. I just think it's the worst song on the album. I can't even really explain why. I think it's because when I say it's the most pop song on the album, probably next to Method Man, I think that this song got so worn out in the grand scheme of when this album, when they played videos and everything, Cream got so played out. And I think that's my issue with it, because I think that every song on the album is so much greater. And I used to, it's like when you listen to Eminem first album and you hear, "Hi, my name is," and you go, "Man, why is that what you listening to?" Like that is the single album.
Right.
And it's not the, I love Cream. Cream is just like just like the other joint, whereas it's all emotion. It's a song that's all emotion. And you know, you felt it. And you especially felt, and this is the one where you hear me saying it's all emotion, but then the most emotional dude on the song is Ray. Love the song. It just got so played when it came out, because when people was really trying to be all on Woo, Cream was the song they was navigating to.
Yeah.
Man, it, you know, I that kind of wore me out on because I think that a lot of people started losing. I think that a lot of people started losing the words to the song and just started thinking cash rules everything around me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I think that was my issue.
I'm really not big on. I'm big on Cream, man. Like, I'm really not big on slow songs for the Woo, man. I'm really not, man. Like if you give me maybe 80 beats per minute and up, man, like okay, they rock it, man. I don't get me wrong, I like the song overall, and I think Meth's voice coming through in the chorus and the beat and everything, and Deck, it's a good song, but that wasn't one of the songs that I used to ride to. On this song, in Tears was a song
We'll
that
get
I
to that.
love, but yeah, we'll get to Tears, but yeah, it's a good song, but I just wasn't real big on this song, man.
I love Cream. So then we get the second solo song, Method Man, METHOD, man.
Ooh, you're gonna see. What about that skit beforehand?
Yeah. That was
This is
fire.
absolutely right.
This
Torture.
like you don't even know
Yeah,
how many times
torture.
we used to play that, and me and my boys in high school would come up with our own.
Yeah.
Just
We used to do
plain
it
ignorance at its finest.
We used to do it in the right state.
Yes. Oh,
Man, Raekwon tried to keep up with the charisma of Meth, but he couldn't in this, man. Meth was, I'm fucking, man. And man, like, it was just like, man, Meth he was that guy, man.
But apparently, if the history of it is that apparently they used to literally play that game with each other all the time. But man,
Gosh.
when you listen to Meth, the thing is it's like Meth rhymes. This is what I tell people. Meth, when I used to hear Meth back in the day, it's the same way he's talking on Torture. Meth rhymes in cursive. Everything flows, never disconnects. Even in Torture, so your asshole closed feet.
Yeah, you could always hear him.
It's like, man, he don't let go of words, man. He put a line. He rhyme in cursive, man, and everything just start flowing. And even in that, you like the things you remember about Torture is all Meth.
Yeah.
And look, then Raekwon says something, and he's like, ooh, and he goes in again, man. Meth is that guy, man. He's like, ooh, like he just feel it, man.
Yeah.
But then the song comes on now. I know you said it was pop, but man, I love the song Meth, man. Method Man. Like I said, it said these things. He was saying some stuff like that you heard as a kid. Remember that wrote a song about it, like the Hear It Go. Man, like Meth, man, that was a great song, man. Did you see the video? How grimy the video was, man. But Meth used to do that dance, man, and he had his hair in these braids, man. He was just a grimy, cool dude, man. This song epitomized that, man.
Rhyming in cursive.
Man. Yeah.
Why did you do? Hey, listen, everything fits, and it's weird because to me the video doesn't fit Method Man at all. Like, well, not him, but the video didn't fit the song, because you could have had in the song 10,000 girls dancing around the beach, and it still would have fit the song. That song was. It actually. Every group has a star, you know what I mean? Everybody listen to Boyz II Men, and then there's Wanye. You know, everybody listening to Jodeci. There's a KC, and I mean that song right there actually solidified the hell out of Method Man. As
Oh yeah.
when you think of Woo, the chicks was like, "That's so sexy."
Yes, man. They loved it, man. They
Right.
loved it.
You
Man,
know,
that stuff, if anybody else said those things on a song,
it would have been
man, I'll be saying, Sam, yeah, man, I don't eat green eggs. And you'd be like, man, that nigga corny, man. Get this nigga out of here. But the way he delivered it, man, it was just like, man,
like,
it was like it was flowing, man.
I
Yeah.
gotta admit, man, never
yeah.
liked that song.
Are you
Never.
serious?
Promise
Are you
to goodness.
serious?
And you know, listening to it now, re-listening to it, I think this epitomizes why he is a great feature artist.
Okay.
Whenever Meth is a feature, you know you're gonna get 16 to 24 great bars. On like, I just think this song is beneath him, man. Like, maybe I'm not old enough. Maybe I'm not old enough to catch all the references that he's doing. And I get it, it's a reference song. It serves a purpose. But I never liked the song. I just thought it was like you said. I thought it was corny. I'm like all these things and staying, like, it don't even, for me, it doesn't match everything that else goes on with the album. It's like almost a pop song because of all the kid references. Like, if Nelly was to say the same thing as what he's saying, motherfuckers would hate it. But since
I would that be me. I would have hated it.
this is some what he's saying is basically go listen to Nelly EI. It's the same fucking song. It's the same lyrics, man. I promise.
That is so true, Cam. That is a great analysis, man.
Hey, you know what? Like, I will say that I hate that analysis, but you are dog. It's his, the thing that makes it work, in all truth, is his charisma. His charisma can get away with it, and it is. I think it's the most pop sounding song on the album, if you could say that about Meth. But it's his charisma, because Meth, that dude can rap the alphabet on a RZA beat, and you be like, oh. But then when you separate the RZA, when you separate the word, you'll go, what the hell?
Exactly.
Do you know who reminds me of Meth? That is a new generation rapper that reminds me of Meth. And people you probably laugh at me when I say this. I think J. Cole reminds me a lot of Meth. Not in how they are as people, but just in the way that they carry themselves, they rap, how they are with their music. And you know, when you say charisma, it's like, man, it could be a room of 100 New York cats, man, and you'll be able to point Meth easily out of all of them if you never knew him. Just
especially at that time, man.
Right. It's just because of how he carried his rhymes, his beats, how he carried himself, period. The dude may not even been trying to be life of the party, man, but it you know, this cat's charisma was ridiculous.
Kev, let me ask you this.
It factor.
Let me ask you this question, Kev, because this was the first Wu-Tang song I heard. Was that the first Wu-Tang song you heard?
No, first Wu-Tang song I heard was Protect Your Neck. Protect Your Neck was the first one I heard. I heard this later, and then I didn't hear the entire album till I want to say probably February. So yeah, it was probably second or third, and I just was I just didn't get it. I was like, well, if they so rugged and raw and all this type of stuff, why is he rapping like this? It's just
it don't fit the album.
It don't fit the album, and it stick out like a sore thumb. And that would be my question. Why did y'all come up with this concept for this song? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
As great as the album is, I agree, Kev. It doesn't fit the album.
It don't, man. It don't.
And like I said, this shows when Meth is by himself, I just don't like him. Why he by himself? I'm I don't like his solo albums. I love the stuff he does with Redman. Whenever he's on a Wu-Tang album, He 9 times out of 10, he's gonna have the best verses on the song. Whenever he's a guest, you better bring your A game because he's gonna out rap you. Whenever he kicks a freestyle, I'm locked in because I know it's gonna be fire. But it's just something about him when he gets past like 24 bars. I don't like it. I just don't.
Songwriting,
Yeah, man, you gotta be a songwriter. So then, like, we go into the one like, Protect Your Neck, like another crew song.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this video on Rap City all the time. All the time. And this was when Vori was telling me, like, yeah, it's like about 20 of them. And you know how like stories get blown up, and when you're a kid, like 20 of them, yeah, there's only a couple of them rapping. Yeah, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. And you know, when Cat's schooling you on it, you taking all the information in, and then you run it back to your other set of friends and tell them to try to take their information as your own. So that's what I was doing in school. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, Protect Your Neck, this the shit. So that's where I was at with Protect Your Neck back then. It still bangs to this day.
Protect Your Neck stands alone. Yeah. It's the first real posse cut you really. I mean, NWA had theirs. Other people, the Symphony, but the truth is, man, this Protect Your Neck might have been probably the most rugged. You didn't give a damn about who was rapping what, when they was rapping, and how they was rapping it. You remember every single word and verse like it was one song. And you know, man, listen, the song itself, that to me is probably that song is history. When you think about it, it's history. It literally showed every single different style Wu-Tang had, and to me it's the precursor of it is literally, you could have started everybody's solo album with their verse off Protect Your Neck like a choose your own adventure book. You listen to Protect Your Neck, and after you know, choose your own adventure, and tell you if you want to do this, go to page 15. If you want to do this, go to page 20. That's how Protect Your Neck was. It's like a choose your own adventure book. So when you heard Raekwon, you can go to the Purple Tape. You heard Meth, you can go to Tikal. You heard ODB, you can go to Return to 36 Chambers. Jizza, Liquid Swords. I mean, that song right there is probably one of the most historical songs in hip hop to me, because it started it. So
who had the best verse? Who had the best verse on there?
Dude, like I like Dirty's verse, man. I guess you guys know what I'm going to say about the album at the end about Dirty, but man, I like Dirty's verse. I like Inspector Deck's verse, man. But I think this song was this was the second. I don't know if Method Man and Protect Your Neck was on the same single A and B, but I seemed like I heard them at the same time. But man, I remember Tony pointing them out. This is so and so. That's so and so. And I was just like, wow, man, these guys they just came to rhyme. That's it.
Hey,
that's what they came for, man. I'm the best on the mic. Your crew can't mess with our crew.
That whole song is connected by Dirty's verse.
But let me point this out too, though. Let me point this out before you say that, bro. Did anyone notice that Jizza's whole verse is aimed at his previous experience of his previous album? He talking about how he didn't get guided as an artist at his previous label. He's talking about who's your A&R and all that stuff. And man, I was just like, why? That was surprising about that.
I'll listen to it again, see if I can catch that. I really love Deck verse on there. You know, the whole slinging through your hood like a neighborhood Spider-Man. Spider-Man, my favorite comic book character. Meth verse is crazy on here. I mean,
I think that everybody, I don't think anybody, everybody shined on this, but I think that this song is connected by ODB's verse. And listen, man, if you ever seen a song put together so well, even the way Jizza ended it, the song is called We Coming, Watch Yourself.
Yeah, you and your crew, watch out.
And then the Jizza ended it with how record labels are trash and the rules their own way. That was, think about it. You best protect your neck. You best protect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit hard.
That the composition of it, everything was great, and it's grimy. It wasn't something where they said, "Hey man, let's all get in one harmony. Let's all get in." It looks like Mad Dudes was like, you know what? I'm gonna go do this shit my way, and RZA let him. And let okay, Kev, we can tell you don't like the RZA, but I will say,
No. I love RZA production. I
Oh,
love him as a producer.
his rap on Protect Your Neck.
I will say, man, he let these dudes be who they were. There was no creation of who you are.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
This wasn't a label studio creation of cats. Protect Your Neck is the perfect example of how these dudes walked in who they were and walked out who they were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
then, Hunt, go ahead. We got Tears. I know you wanted to talk about Tears.
So it starts off with this semi skit. Oh my God, he shot the gun! But look, you don't even hear a gun. You hear somebody go bang, like pow, like they do the sound effect with a gun. Like, dude, can we get a real gunshot, man? Oh my God, he shot the gun! He shot the gun! So then the
come on.
RZA raps it, man. Like, no, man. Like, this is a very unique sample, man. This is a very unique sample. I'm not saying the song is trash, but I don't particularly like this song.
Yeah, man. Memories in the corner of my mind. Hey, listen, I love this song.
I think. Go ahead, B.
You like this song? You like it? Go ahead.
So see, to me, unlike Cream, the RZA was able to, unlike Cream, this is another song that kind of shows the emotions of the of cats in the Wu-Tang. And you notice the most emotional Wu-Tang cat is on both them songs, right? Ghost.
Yeah.
But to me, man, he was able to still keep the whole Wu-Tang style in this song. And boom, 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 boom. To me, man, it's I love it. I just love the way the song was set up. I love the way it starts. I love the way it ends. The purpose of the song, because the truth in the matter is every R&B artist got a gospel song on there, right? Pac every album got Keep Your Head Up. Brenda's got a baby, Dear Mama, right? Yeah. This is that version. This is the first song on the Wu album, right? Because it's after the laughter, I guess, comes the tears. It for everything that they say in the whole album, Tears kind of brings it back to, hey, you know, life is rough. We out here killing folk. We out here whooping folk ass. Shouldn't have happened to us, but it still hurt. I mean, that sounds soft as hell, but, and I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but this song kind of brings everything in the album back to reality. The album ain't one big ass scrap because of the song. And I've always thought the Tears balanced the hell.
I don't hate the song. I don't love the song. I think the song would have been a lot better if it's whoever wrote the verse, if somebody else would have did the RZA part.
Hey man, when he laughed, when the RZA did that laugh, it killed it for me. It killed it for me, man.
Like, what is that, bruh? Like, you are a phenomenal producer. You are one of the best producers of all time. But you as a rapper, bro, nah. You could have put Dirty on there. You could have put Ray on there. Anybody but you, bruh. I'm sorry, man. I love you, man. I love you. But that, hey, because you got Ray, not Ray, but you got Ghost with the talking about dude having unprotected sex. You know, you ain't pumping him. And like, it's all, especially in that time in '93. You know what I'm saying? When everything was about, you know what I'm saying, safe sex and everything like that. It was very poignant, but it's just like the first verse from RZA is just not good. Like,
but
it's not.
But if you take both verses out, the fact that this cat used Wendy Renee, Wilson Pickett, Roy Ayers, and Barbara Streisand. Think about it, man. The RZA was a genius.
Yes.
Look. The whole composition of the instrumental of that of Tears is genius because again, the Wu did a lot of stuff nobody did. It just I don't know. I just think that the song itself was genius. The RZA verse, because 36 Chambers is so classic, we always excuse the RZA's verse. It's just part of it. We know he got better. We know the RZA was one who got better.
Yes.
So I do think the verse does crack me up. Because everything, it changes so much. Like when you was talking about the Ray and Ghost joint, how you felt like folk was yelling at you. Man, listen. I really want to be like, hey, was anybody in the studio with you, dog? How far was you standing away from the mic?
It is so evident. It is so evident that somebody sat the RZA down from this CD to the double, said, "Hey, man, you need to start honing your craft, man. Your raps didn't work, dude, because he lit it up on the double."
Yeah.
But dude, like I'm glad he realized and he made the proper adjustment, the perfect adjustment from this CD, which was 4 years later, to the double. But man, his raps, man,
So do you want to know my truth and what I think changed the RZA?
What's that?
The Grave Diggers album.
I don't know why you bought that shit, bro.
Hey, wait. I love that album.
I listened to it. I listened to it twice.
I love
it. I gave that shit back to you, bro. I cannot fuck with this, dog.
But here's the thing. On the Grave Diggers album, the RZA was Enter the 36 Chambers RZA, which is why I love the Grave Diggers album. But if you let him, somebody helped him work on his craft. These things ended up working because you could tell how raw and considering and let me tell you, and I don't know if this is true, but I really believe that if you listen to his first album and you listen to Ladies Love Rakim, his rhyming on 36 Chambers sounds almost like an attempt to get away from that.
I can expect that, yeah.
And the thing is he wasn't, and as we know, these cats grew up, he wasn't Ladies Love Rakim. So sometimes you try a little different the next time up, especially when you're in a room with these cats. This cat's cousin's ODB, and if you could say Ladies Love Rakim is Ladies Love Raheem is so different from what ODB was. Like, this is three totally different human beings in the original All In Together gang, Jizza, RZA, and ODB. And you could just see that RZA was something different. And then somebody found an in-between when the double album came out. Let RZA be who he is on the Grave Diggers album. When the other album came out, you could see that somebody helped him find the in-between. And I'm interested to know that story.
That would be deep. So who's a standout performer on this album?
Man, for me, it was definitely, of course we know it's Meth. Let's just cast it to the side. But I was very surprised at Dirty on this CD, man. Dirty, man. You could kind of tell that the way how they were presented. Meth had a CD about to come up. Dirty had a CD about to come up. And you could probably say the Jizza, because I know you're gonna probably ask, did it stand the test of time? So I'm not gonna go into that. But Dirty, for me, that was a surprise. And another surprise was how bad You God's verses were. I'm thank God. How many from You God and the Jizza? I mean, the You God and Master Killa. That's 3 verses.
3 verses total.
No. They didn't have 3 verses. Master Killa had 1. You God had 1.
No, You God is on.
You
You
Got is
Got is
on.
on Mr. Chess Boxing and Here Come My Nut in School. Here Come My Shaolin Style.
That's
Wow.
He's on Protect Your Neck. On
Yeah.
Protect Your Neck. Thank God they only had 3 verses on this whole CD,
but
man.
that's not. But that's
Killer versus dope.
Master Killer had a dope verse.
wait. But
He's
do
a
Yo,
you
momentum killer.
he
He's a
had
momentum
more
killer
than
on Triumph.
wait? Do you believe you count that protect your neck one as a verse?
Hey man, how many? What was it like 2 bars? Yeah, dude, man, you guys' whole thing. You guys' whole thing against the RZA is he never put my CD out, man, because he was too busy doing like those side groups like Killer Army and all these things. Dude, you just
Hey, but
wasn't
are
ready,
you
man. You just wasn't ready.
are you gonna tell your homie he stink?
Yes, yes,
I don't know.
yes.
I don't know if you could tell RZA he stink because he got the beats. He got
No,
the beats.
no.
He
I'm
talking
talking
about
about
you,
the
God.
Oh,
Talking
okay.
about you,
Yeah,
God.
that's
you
But
got.
look, you guys said this though. You guys said they went and got Capadonna for only built for Cuban because his verses wasn't ready. His verses wasn't fitting, man.
Well, Cat.
It is what it is,
So
man.
they'll tell you, hey, listen, they'll tell you that Cap was there beforehand,
Okay.
and apparently you God was in jail. Master Killer's the one who showed up when the album was being made, and
Uh-huh.
you God apparently you God and Cap was homies, and apparently Cap was a mentor to you God. If you, the weird part about the Wu-Tang American Saga is, so at the beginning when Divine goes to jail, you
Yeah.
obviously see Cap rapping his verse in jail, and
On
it's
What It
like,
Was. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think that's exactly how that happened, but apparently they was all family with Capadonna beforehand, and because you can tell in Cap's style that him and Ghost are so similar.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I wonder how different this album would have been if Cap was on there, and
Uh-huh.
not only that, y'all want to know who I don't count you God and Master Killer because of the sheer limited amount of stuff they did on there. So my favorite Wu member, and y'all probably anybody listening is probably gonna be shocked. I think that if I had to rate them all, the lowest rated Wu member on this album is probably my all-time favorite one, Ghost.
I can agree.
The only reason
I
why
can fully agree with you.
Ghost does not
Look
stand
at
out on the.
Cam. Look at Cam.
Listen, man, Ghost does not stand out on this album.
Listen to some of the jizzles yawning ass rhymes, man.
But again, wait. But again, no, you can remember the just rhymes. The
Yeah.
funny thing about Ghost is the Ghost we knew on Iron Man was not the same
Woo!
Ghost on Enter the
That's fair.
36 Chambers.
That's fair. That's fair. That's
Style,
fair because Ghost, I think I don't even think it's too much up for debate. He is probably the best rapper
yeah,
of
Yeah.
the Wu-Tang Clan.
yeah.
Like overall, like
But
he's
his
For me, yeah.
he's produced the
his
best CDs. He's
yes,
been on. I mean, granted, I think everybody thinks that Purple Tape is the best Wu-Tang album, like solo project, but overall, Ghost has the
yeah.
most best albums.
And let's
Listen,
not forget that
I can agree with that.
the purple tape is classic because of Ghost. You know what I'm
It's a
saying?
it's a group out. It's a duet album basically.
And I think I
but that
text you this, Kev. I think I text you this. For me, this CD is kind of a hard listen because Ghostface is not Tony Stark's yet.
he's not.
He's not the
That's it.
he's not the Wally champ. He's not the guy
Yep.
sitting with the Ric Flair robe with this big old eagle on his arm. He's not that guy yet. Even
He's not.
Raekwon is not Lex Diamond yet. He's not that fly guy yet. He's a street guy, but he's not that fly guy yet. And the RZA's rhymes didn't go yet, man. So
But wait a minute, Ray was still Ray on this album. Ghost rhyme style and cadence wasn't even really the same. And the thing,
total different, yeah, man.
I think, and I have thought this since this album came out, since I first heard Iron Man, and before I start all this, of Wu solo albums, I just want y'all to know my number one Wu solo album of all time is Supreme Clientele.
It's one
Now,
of my favorites. Yes.
Number 3 for me.
That being said, I believe that when all was said and done, and Enter the 36 Chambers came out, Ghostface said, "All right, I'm not going out to this bitch no more with this goddamn stocking on my face."
yeah.
And,
That's a good analogy. I like that. Yeah.
Well, it's funny to me because when I say he's the most emotional member of Wu-Tang, him being Ghostface and having a stocking on his face when it all started hid who he was as a person. As much as I say Method Man has the most charisma, and I say Method Man rhymes in cursive, I think that Ghostface has the single best personality in the Wu-Tang.
I agree.
And when he shed that mask and he was on the purple tape, he did Iron Man and he did Supreme Clientele and Fish Scale. And this dude's personality shines so much because the thing is he went from being the gimmicky part to actually the dude who stands out in front as the one when you hear the Wu, when they be like the Wu got Raekwon talking, you can tell he's talking through his teeth and shit. The funny thing about Ghost, man, is it's like they was talking about him, because even when you watch Of Mics and Men, right, you notice that everybody for real could talk really diplomatically about Divine and everything that went on. Who was the dude always just saying exactly what he meant, when he meant it, how he meant it, and that's the Ghost that wasn't. And listen, In the 36 Chambers, my number one album of all time, that Ghost wasn't there.
That's fair. That's fair. For me, standout performer, man. Like as much as I'm an Inspector Deck fan, he shines on this album, but don't nobody outshine Meth on here. As much as I don't like his solo song, he has the best rhymes by far. Best rhymes by far overall. But it will be foul not to give RZA his props, because this album don't happen without the RZA. The beats are phenomenal. Yeah. His rhymes may not be there, but you know what it is? The production. And he produced every single song on here. So you got to give RZA his props. And for me, it's a two-way tie with the RZA and Method, man, for dudes that perform the best on this album.
So now when we talked about Dr. Dre's The Chronic, it was so many familiar samples on it. So many familiar songs from Dre Day. We know what that's from. Let Me Ride, like you said. Nigga with a Gun, that was a Friend sample in the Beastie Boys. We all heard a lot of that stuff before. For me, there was nothing familiar, a sound or sample on it. I didn't know any of these samples, man. It was like, I don't know where he got. You talking about digging in the crates, man. That's what I give the RZA props for digging in the crate, because there was no familiar sound. He wanted to be totally different, man. And he knocked it out the park with how different the samples were, how different the beats was, the sounds and everything, and putting it with these grimy dudes, man. It just worked like a charm, man.
So let me take what you're saying and let me add this. This is what makes, to me, this is why this is the number one album in the history of hip hop. When you talk about Dre's music, Eric Sermon, Bomb Squad, beats, samples, and everything were so blatant. Everything was blatant. The RZA created Enter the 36 Chambers wasn't an album. It was a movement. Even now, there are Wu-Tang books, stylings. Like, this was a life, a movement. Very few people in hip hop can say, I created a whole movement out of an album. Like, you was Wu. Cats in New York tried to get that style and tried to say Wu affiliation. I mean, Wu where? everything. He was Wu. The style of Wu, the musical style of Wu. Listen, never once did a group come out before this where they weren't all basically owned by the same label. This was 9 dudes in a group with different labels, with the ability to go at any trajectory they wanted. This was revolutionary in music. And it came from 9 ghetto ass dudes from New York. This was a transcendent album from a transcendent group. How many groups or people in hip hop can you say are more transcendent than the music that they created? This was revolutionary in the aspect of these dudes weren't hip hop. They went from hip hop to a whole movement.
I mean, it's good. Simple as this, man. Like when Old Dirty rushed the stage and said Wu-Tang is for the children. Like that shit is legendary. And I mean, there's so many quotables, just interview quotables, obviously lyrics quotables. I mean, we can end it like this, man. Does this album stand the test of time?
Hell yeah.
I would definitely say yeah. But look, I'm gonna say this. I like the double better.
Really?
Listen, I got Tony Starks. I got Lex Diamonds. I got RZA, who's actually rhyming now. I actually like the double better. Yeah.
I can't believe it.
I know.
I think the double CD is the most lyrical CD that I've ever heard. Yeah.
What's the song called? Black Shampoo?
Yup, Black Shampoo.
Listen,
I don't like that song, but yeah.
But that's why the double will never be better, because Black Shampoo.
We used to play that shit so much.
Oh my God!
What are you talking about? What is this? Because I'm not 100% sure how the track listing go, but I want to say it went from Duck Season to Black Shampoo. You go from like a straight grind song like Duck Season to Black Shampoo, and I was just like, what is this, bruh? Why would you do? What decision is that? Look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna I already talked to Maine about it. We're gonna do a double disc review. So we're gonna go back. It's gonna be an all inclusive, because I don't want to listen to that do a whole review on the Bone Thugs Art of War, but I want to do a whole breakdown of the double disc era and how horrible it was for hip hop.
Hey, you got to.
Let me say this about the Wu Double. Let me say about the Wu Double. From 93 to 97, you had the Enter the 36 Chambers. And you had the Liquid Swords. You had Dirty City. You had Iron Man. You had Only Built for Cuban Links. There was a lot of growing up that these MCs did lyrically and personality-wise. Personality-wise, you could almost say this. Personality-wise, in Enter the 36 Chambers, they're kind of stale personality-wise.
Yeah, they just rap.
Through all these scenes, the only thing you can tell from this, they some street dudes and they want to be the best on the mic. Yep. Now when the double CD come, now these guys will let you know who they are, who these personalities are. Now you can see these personalities. Now you get the high detailed rhyming of Ghostface Killer. Ghostface puts so much details in that Impossible rhyme. One of the best stories ever, man. Now I don't get that in 36 Chambers, man.
We'll do that, but I'll match you with this. For all the good that you get with the new and improved Ghost, the new and improved RZA, you get more You God. You get Master Killer. And that just, like, yo, a song like Triumph that got played at the club, they cut it off because that nigga Master Killer started rapping.
He killed the momentum on that song. You not lying, man. He killed the momentum. God.
What I'm talking about. That's the High Chief Jamel Reef.
He got one bar in that whole 16. He got one bar, one no line.
When you take Seventh Chamber, from Seventh Chamber, the end of 36 Chambers to Reunited.
Oh,
Everything in between. I'm telling you, from that to that might be the best bridge between a first and second album in the history of that group, and every album in between. That might be the best bridge. I promise you. That's what makes the Woo a movement. When them violins come on Reunited, when I first we had Purple Tape, all of that. Iron, all of that. And then I waited in line at midnight to get the Wu-Tang double CD. And the very first song, Ike B, shout out to Ike B, played on the radio because he told us to show up. And we got in line first because Ike B was our man. And was Reunited. Man, dog, you'd have thought church was happening out in front of at the music joint in Huber Heights. You'd have thought church was happening. Reunited is like gospel, homie. And that's what makes the Wu transcend.
We gotta break down the double, man. I don't know. It's up to you, Kev.
We'll get the double. We'll get the double.
Yeah, we got to get to that.
I agree. This album stands the test of time simply because of the movement that it created, the birth of the Wu-Tang Clan, and you get some of the best MCs that ever be in the game with Ghost and Ray and Method Man. So absolutely, it stands the test of time for me, and a very slept on. And for me, you couldn't tell me that Inspector Deck wasn't gonna be like a dope MC, a dope dude that dropped classic albums. I don't know what went wrong for my guy, but it just didn't. It did no dice. It just didn't. Just wasn't in the cards for him.
And man, some people fit the mold of where they at the time. We know Deck is one of the greatest ever to touch a mic.
Yeah.
That verse he got on Above the Clouds on Gangstar, fucking phenomenal. I don't know why he couldn't get a full album.
Mac 10 said it best, man, in his Vlad interview. He said his best times is writing with West Side Connection. He said it's easy to just pen a hot 16 every song. He said that's the easiest part to do. He said songwriting is hard. So when you got a song right, if you got 4 guys and I just got to put together a hot 16, that's a little easier. Songwriting is hard, man.
You ever seen an NBA player you loved and he was on the team and he was like, man, he cold. And it's like 3-4 other great players on that team. And you like, he cold. And then when he leave that team, oh man, what the hell happened?
Mitch Richards.
Exactly.
That's it's Deck. And the thing is you don't stop loving that player. You just recognize that when he with his team, he's a much better and greater player, man, and you love what he do with the team. But it never clicks. Even if he on that other team by himself, averaging 20 points a game, it just never clicks. So you go, man, what happened?
Yeah.
But then he goes back to a team and you go, man, that's the dude we love. That's Deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, fellas, this was fun, man. Appreciate y'all jumping on, man. Wu-Tang.
Brian, good rapping with you, man.
Hey, man, I enjoyed myself. I appreciate it.
This was appreciate it.
A whole lot of fun. Good way to start.
Yeah, man.
For sure. I appreciate it, and we'll definitely get that double disc in the mix. I'll figure a schedule out to get that double disc just for Hunt going. Appreciate it, y'all.
All right, love y'all.
Sure, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Peace. Okay, see you. Okay.